Hi, hello. Welcome to episode 40 of A Tonic for Lunacy. I'm your host, Donna. And yes, if you are watching on YouTube, welcome. You get to see my face and the screen that I am sharing. If you are listening on Spotify or iTunes, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today's show is going to be talking about the shadow chart and the shadow report that I have created. Now, this has come through as this podcast has come to be, this episode, in response. So, what we did is we put out a little feedback form for people to fill out. Hey, if you've downloaded the free report, please, if you do not mind, fill out this form. Tell us what you think. We would love all kinds of feedback, whether you bought the report or just downloaded the free chart. We would love your feedback. So some of the feedback that rolled in was, I'm not really sure what the difference is between the free chart and the report, the paid report. So here I am providing that information. Now it's like a funny thing with this sacral, right? Because sometimes it's like, but it's like the timing is not exactly right. And I'll be honest with you, because sometimes I'm like, it's a yes, but like it's not a right now yes. And other times I'm like, no. Like it's just a flat out no. And sometimes I'm unsure if it's like the timing of my sacral or if it's my 1034. So I have the channel 1034 and it will oftentimes mess me up. So the 1034 can be super stubborn. It can be super like it's deaf, right? So we have these deaf channels and deaf gates in human design. And what it means when you have a deaf channel is that it doesn't really hear anybody else, it only hears itself. This is individual energy, this is integration. Like, I only really care about myself. Now, integration, I'm going off on a tangent. Integration circuitry, the keynoting for integration circuitry is only really potent and important if you do not have the 2838. So this is something a lot of people don't talk about. Integration circuitry is 1057, the 2034, the 2057, the 5710, like all of those channels. If you have all of those, this is all about you, right? Like it is all about me and who I am. And I don't really care about the other, right? Like I am empowering myself. I do not really care about the other person. Incredibly selfish, self-absorbed. That's their design. It's all good. If you have the 2838, it kind of like breaks up that energy a little bit. And it's like, okay, well, now I empower me to empower you. So now this is like a just empowerment keynote, circuitry keynote. This is individual energy. So the individual energy of the 1034 is like, I'm doing me and I do not hear you. So it's part of the integration. We have that selfishness, but it's individual. I also want to empower you by being an example, but sometimes I don't hear other people. So like Whitney, who works with me on the back end, she always comes to me with like these fantastic ideas. And I'm like, no, I do not want to do that. And like my deaf gate is like, I don't hear her. I don't want it. How dare she? Even though like I clearly asked for it. And I'm well aware this is happening, right? Like this is part of the experiment is being this observer that can observe your own thoughts, that can observe your own actions, your own behaviors. Like that's what makes it fascinating. I'm like, I see myself doing this. I don't need to fix it. I don't need to change it right now, but I see myself doing this. And then literally like a week later, a few days later, she will bring it up again, or somebody else will bring it up. And I'm like, yes. And she's like, remember when I told you this? I'm like, no, or yes. But either it wasn't the right time or is my 1034 being deaf? So with the 1044, there is that really fun and exciting nuance. I don't even remember how I got onto this tangent, but I think it was because she's asked me before to create a podcast and a video around the shadow chart and the shadow report. And I was like, nah. So here we are. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen and I just want to give you guys some insights into this because sometimes I have a hard time explaining exactly what is the exact value, right? So here's my reasoning why, and whether this is just like a me reasoning why, or it's like legit, I don't know. But actually, let me show you guys after I run my chart for you. Okay. Share my screen. Okay, so you're going to go here, humandesignshadow.com/free dash shadow dash chart. You would think I would know. Shadow/chart. Or you just go to humandesignshadow.com and you'll see it in super big letters. So here we have your shadow chart. You can put in your information here. We have all these fun little graphics and things that you can read about. Okay, but instead, I'm just going to put my information in here. I advise you, if you're on a computer, do not press the tab button because it will just take you to the next form. We don't want that. Now, here's the thing. This software that I use, not perfect, clunky as fuck, really annoying. I've talked to them millions of times. Whitney has talked to them millions of times. They're working on making it better. I love its capabilities. I just wish it was cleaner. I wish it was like easier to work with, but that's okay. We're here. Okay. So when I was telling you guys about my inability to explain value, usually I can do it, obviously, but sometimes there's a little bit of a hang up, right? So if you look here, I'm a split definition. So my root center is connected to my spleen, which is connected to my ego and not to the throat. Okay. So this is one of my splits, gate 25, one of my bridges, gate 25. But my cluster, my island of centers, the ego, the spleen, and the root all connected. Right? So this is just one part of who I am. This is the pressure to find purpose in life and to make sure that the past does not repeat itself and to also communicate the message. But oh shit, it does not reach my throat. So I have this little disconnect here. Okay. But what does reach my throat is my sacral, my G straight to the throat, or the sacral straight to the throat through the 3420. So the G center goes straight to my throat. So it's easier for me to talk about things that are helpful for me. A highly individual energy, right? It's easier for me to talk about things that work for me. That's why it's easier for me to do this and to show you guys exactly what it is and to give you my personal experience with all of this than to like clickety clack a sales page. Okay. Even though, I'll do that too. But part of my design is to do things differently. And I do things differently because of where I see that I have these little hangups or things that should be easy but are not. This is how everybody's doing it. Why can't I do it this way? No, 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 no. That is not self-thinking. True self-thinking would be, I'm here to mutate the collective with that individual energy. Here's another little piece of advice. Integration, there is no mutation. You do not care about the other. When you have the individual energy that is empowering yourself to empower others in order to put that mutation inside their world to help them change, create a better future. Okay, so those are my splits. Okay, I'll get back to splits in a minute. Now, if we scroll down here, we see I'm a manifesting generator. We all know what a man gen is. We see it all over the interwebs. You don't give a shit about my description, but I will give you a little bit about the shadow aspect of this. Did you know that MGs are the most conditioned of all the types? A lot of people don't know that. What is a common trauma response for MG? It's flight. If you are quitting nonstop and going here and there and being constantly distracted by all the things, you are in the not self of your type, right? That is not self behavior. I know everybody tells us, but MGs are supposed to be the great quitters. Yes, but if you are quitting everything, then you're in the not self. You're probably acting out of trauma in that flight response. So this chart is my goal for this chart is to help you see your body graph in just a 1 degree different shade. in a different light, in a different perspective, even by like the tiniest little bit. Because all it takes is a 1 degree change in your perspective to be able to see everything differently, for those dominoes to start dropping. Now, this is the shit nobody else is giving you. If you want a free chart that will give you all the information about your body graph and you can find that everywhere on the onlines, right? On the interwebs. This is different. I wanted to give you something different. I wanted to also challenge you, because a lot of the human design information out there is like spoon fed to you, right? Let me hold your little hand and let me spoon feed you this information. Nah, bitch, not here. Here, I want to, if you listen to my manifestation podcast, I want to expand your consciousness. I want to help you learn different things, see different things. So that will involve you thinking outside of the box. So something I used to talk about a lot, especially during COVID, was that a lot of us can't think for ourselves. We are not critical thinkers. And that's okay, right? Like, we are honestly taught not to be critical thinkers. You follow authority, right? Follow what somebody else is saying. Don't think for yourself. I want you to think for yourself. I will not hold your hand here. Like, I will not. So that's why some of this information, people are like, I don't understand it. It doesn't make sense. Please ask me questions. I'm always happy to answer questions, but I do want you to think a little bit critically. Like, in my human design shadow training program, which starts in September, if you want to sign up, the link is now available. I don't hold your hand. I answer all your questions. I'm here for it, and I will help you find answers. But it's not a coddling thing. It's like also note my 27 bridge. I don't know how to nurture and care. Okay. No, I do care. But it's different. I care differently. I care about your expansion. I care about your growth, and you're never going to get there with me spoon feeding. So that's also behind all of this. In everything that I do, I put these little subconscious nuggets of magic to make you better, to learn better, to see something different. But you have to be open to it, or else you'll just get mad at me, which is fine too. I get that too. Okay, signature satisfaction and not self-themed frustration. Why is this important? Why am I giving you this? Because wherever you are frustrated, wherever you're experiencing your not self-theme, you know you're out of alignment. You know you're in the not self. Well, I'm feeling super frustrated in my relationships. Okay. I can go to my solar plexus. Well, that shit's completely open. So what does that tell me? Where am I not telling the truth? Where am I not being honest? Where am I not confronting the truth of who I am, the truth of who someone else is? Where am I waiting for somebody else to bring me this emotional depth? Maybe to bring me the emotional safety and security. Maybe to bring me that nurturing and caring. Right? Now, I wish that I could give you a little bit more background, like I'm telling you right now, but the capabilities are so limited that like it's really hard for me to give you some of that background information on how to use this. So I guess good thing we're doing this, right? All right. Decision making, we respond. Now, the strategy to respond, I do tell you to check your specific sacral activations for what your sacral responds to. Our sacral, now this is a key, right? Hi, 214, keeper of the keys. This is a little key for you. Your sacral is going to respond to different things. Now, you might need to do a little bit of work to find this out. What does that mean? Go on my website. I have information about sacral. I have a sacral masterclass that you can download. I think it's like $20 maybe. Each one of your sacral activations means that your sacral responds to something different. My sacral responds to direction, empowering you to find a new direction. It responds to busyness, but being busy with the correct things. It responds to my contribution, to my creative expression, to creativity. What's next? How do we mutate? Lots of individual energy. Your inner authority is the sacral. So here I'm telling you, download the report and I will give you the not self information on your inner authority. Honestly, it was too much to include here. It would be insanity. And I give you more information about how to use it inside the report. So in the report, I give you information about your specific authority. So here would be sacral, what the not self themes of the sacral authority is, how I see this playing out. A lot of it is like experience. I've seen a lot of people with sacral activations do this, that, and the other thing. They tend to be highly conditioned in their throat. MGs with sacral activations, especially the 1020s, the 2034, they tend, oh God, I always wedge myself into these places where like I want to tell you, but also like, am I allowed to say this? Ross said a lot of times they have thyroid issues because they do not follow their sacral correctly. They do not make those sacral sounds. Definition. This is the most important thing you will ever see in terms of deconditioning your body graph, deconditioning yourself, right? And there's so much information on this. I give you a little bit here. As a split definition, this is going to be the first place I look for conditioning in my splits: 25, 27, 57, 52. This, remember, I told you I have this island of the root to the spleen to the ego. This is one island, and it is not connected to my other island of throat, G, sacral. So I have two islands of defined centers that are not connected. That's called a split definition. The bridges that would connect them are my bridges. This is where I'm most likely to be conditioned in my 27. Obsessing over caring. Now, this is also places where we are most likely to have trauma, right? Because we have these expectations. Well, my mom, my dad, who completed this for me, who made me feel whole because they had the 27, I had an expectation for how that would affect me, but it's never going to affect me. It's never going to make me whole in the way that I believe it will, because it's not my energy and it's not meant to. Therefore, it creates an unmet need, an unmet expectation. And then we search our entire lives for that energy to meet that unmet expectation from childhood, but it will never be met because it's not made to be met. Our purpose as a split definition is not to bridge our bridges. That's not our purpose. It's to just be us. Our specialization is in our bridges. This is a whole other episode. I will do a whole episode on splits. If you are a simple split, large split, you're going to want to look at your bridges. If you are a quad split, you're going to want to look at your bridges. If you are a single definition or a no definition or a triple split, you're going to want to look at your undefined centers for your biggest conditioning factors. Okay, 1-3, I do give you a little bit here about the potential conditioning of a line 1, the potential conditioning of a line 3. I give you way more inside the report. Now, how is this helpful? If you're a 1-3, okay, I'm a 1-3, but as your profile, this is your costume, this is your purpose, this is your personality, this is who you are. If you are living in the not self energy of this, then you are not aligned with the costume of your purpose, with who you are here to be. And this is really important. This is the big deal, the 1-3, right? Our profile. This is the big deal. So what I give you here is the archetype. So the 1 is the archetype of the protector. Why is this important? Because I can see how my 1 energy wants to know everything in order to protect the inner child. So when I'm observing myself thinking and behaving, I can say to myself, whoa, not self-behavior. How am I trying to protect my inner child? Does my inner child feel unsafe? Where's my shaken foundation that perhaps I'm trying to fix because I am broken with all of this information or needing to know all the things, right? That's how you can use that. Incarnation cross, I do give you some information on that. The channels. So I did add this in here. Your channels are gifts you may be repressing, therefore operating in their unhealthy expression, which is the shadow. Nobody else will give you the not self of your definition the way that I do. I'll just say it. Nobody else is doing it. So your channels, think of them as your gifts, your strengths. Now, if you're like looking at your channels and you're like, oh my God, I don't resonate with this at all. Like it'd be super cool if I had this, but I don't feel like I have this. How do I get from not self to true self, from not having this energy to fully fulfilling this energy? And the best way to do that is by understanding the not self energy, because then you see how you're repressing it. Okay, so let's talk about shadow real quick. And I go through this in the report. So again, if you want to learn more about this, look at the report, download the report. Here's what we do. We have this energy. Let's use let's use one of these. Let's do my 1-8, okay? Creative role model, creative self-expression, like totally just like unique and creative. I beat to the beat of my own drum, or I move to the beat of my own drum, whatever, right? The 214, let's say. Keeper of the keys, empowers higher self-direction in others when the pulse is on, generate a channel. Waiting to respond to mutation and direction, shadow. Can get stuck feeling like they don't know which way to go. Feeling completely stuck, not waiting to respond. Going the wrong direction, which can cause depression. Not waiting for the pulse to be on causes intense frustration and burnout. So the 214 with the 1-8 is like my mutative direction, my unique direction. Now, if I'm in the not self of this energy, I'm like, I don't have a unique direction. I'm stuck. I don't know where I'm going and I don't know what I'm doing. Well, that is repressed. That is a repressed gift, right? Having a unique direction. So let me think back to when I might have had, when I may have done things differently, right? I did things differently my entire life. And I was always like, why can't I just be like everybody else? And other people are like, Donna, just like do what everybody else does. Go to college. I didn't want to go to college, but I went to college because that's what you're supposed to do. Right. So I can look at all of these things and see how my subconscious may have taken that unique direction that I possess and pushed it down. This is bad. Bad, bad, bad. Your unique direction is not good. Your unique direction is bad. It's wrong. You're wrong for wanting to go to all these different places. Conform, be like everybody else. Now, how do I know if I'm here? How do I know if this is a repressed gift for me? Because I'm feeling stuck, because I don't know which way to go, because I'm not waiting to respond and I'm taking every direction, because I'm depressed, because I'm not waiting on the pulse, because I have frustration and I have burnout. Now I can backtrack it, right? I can look at the true energy of the 214, the creative direction, right? The dancing to the beat of your own drum. Why aren't I doing that? Because I've made it wrong. It's a shadow. That's what makes it a shadow. We take this quality that we possess, we throw it down into the well, and we cast a shadow over it. We make it bad. These are your shadows, people. These are your shadows. Those of you that have asked me, where are my shadows? You don't give me my shadows? Yes, you're right. I didn't make it clear. These are your shadows, and I will work on making this clear, but you can see I have very limited area. It doesn't let me write here. So I'm doing my best with the tech. Okay, those are your shadows. Now, this is, of course, limited. Here, obviously, it's not going to be free. It's going to be $97. Give it a minute to download. But what I give you in the report is way, 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 way more. So the first few pages of the report are basically going to be explanations. Read it. Please, please read it, because it's going to give you information on what is shadow, what is human design, what is shadow work, how do we do the shadow work, conditioning and deconditioning. People don't talk about this. What actually is conditioning? What is human design shadow? Why did I put it all together? And who the fuck am I? Why should you care? How to use this report. Use this, read this, your chart. Definition, I'm a split. Now, here's the thing, and I've said this before, the software cannot give you your bridges, unfortunately. So if you email me your birth information and tell me your split definition, I will email you back pages like this from the report with your specific bridges. and their shadows and how to work with it. Yes, it takes me some time. Yes, it's manual. Yes, it's not always fun. Sometimes it stresses me out, but I will do it for you because this is so, so, so crucial. And I really, really believe in its importance. So please email me if you're split definition, but I do also show you how to find it. Undefined centers, they give you all the information about your undefined centers, plus journaling prompts. Journaling prompts is how we do the shadow work on this. Your profile, conscious and unconscious, what it means, your authority, and why our authority is so conditioned, why you need to know this. Sacral, and then your conscious moon. Your conscious moon is going to give you your trauma response. Now, I explain this, and I also explain to you what trauma is and what trauma isn't, and what the trauma responses are, and everything you need to know about trauma that other people are not teaching you. I'm not just throwing information at you. I know a lot of people are like, throw the information at me about my chart. You really have to learn the background because I'm setting a foundation. Hey, I'm a line 1. I'm setting a safe foundation for you in order to be able to put things on top, to really, really learn some of these other aspects and use them in different ways. Not just regurgitate the information I'm giving you, but to actually sit down with it in a book and a pen and a paper and learn about it and learn about yourself with this foundation that I've created for you. I told you everything is very, very thought out. And I'm always planting these little seeds in your subconscious mind that you are expansive, that you know things, that you are not broken, that you can be healed, that you can do whatever you want to do. We expand your consciousness that you can manifest. My conscious moon, my gate 51, this is going to tell me about what I am motivated by in the not self and your trauma response. Nervous system regulation. Okay, no, spoiler alert, it's very difficult to manifest and create anything that you want in life if you are dysregulated. So I'm going to teach you how to regulate your nervous system based on whether your solar plexus is defined or not. Mine is undefined. So some journaling prompts, some things to do to regulate, how to regulate based on your root definition. Super important. Again, like, if you're not following strategy and authority, if you are behaving with all of these trauma responses, if you are in the identities that are not you, if you are playing out all these roles from your profile that are not actually you, then you're likely dysregulated. If you are in the not self, you are dysregulated. You have to regulate this nervous system before you can start all of the deconditioning process. So I give you some information on that, some things to play with, tracking, blah, 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 and then the deconditioning process. Okay. The deconditioning process is a workbook. And as someone said that gave me some feedback, it doesn't look like much, but once you start digging into it based on what I tell you to do, it will blow up your game. It is a game changer. Okay, so the next few pages are all about the deconditioning process. And then this is some additional resources for you. So the big difference, one is free and gives you the shadows of your channels. The other one is paid and it goes a little bit deeper into all of the information. But best of all, it pulls it all together and it shows you how to actually use it, how to regulate your nervous system based on your design, and how to actually use this information to decondition with a very simple process that you can use over and over and over and over again. Now, I'm constantly making this better. I'm constantly adding things. I'm working on something right now to add to this. If you have things you'd love to see and the software can do it, I will certainly add it. Like, I want to give you guys the best. Obviously, there's only so much I can do in a PDF. So readings are exceptional. I'm currently not doing readings, but Megan is. I will drop a link to her readings. And the Human Design Shadow Training Program is where you get my eyes on everything every single week, almost every single week, where I teach you how to do this for yourself. We dive so deep into everything that I can't possibly give it to you in a report. So I highly, highly, highly recommend joining the Human Design Shadow Training. We start September 7th. I will drop a link to that as well. I hope this will help. I hope this was helpful, and I will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.